welcome back to my kitchen. Hey, the other day I was in my pantry and I was just doing some routine maintenance type things, checking lids and rotating stock and just keeping an eye on things. We should all do that once in a while. And so I was in there and I came across a large can of processed cheese that I had purchased from Sam's Club a while back. And obviously I didn't open it right away. Usually when I buy large cans of product like that, I tend to store them the way that they are from the grocery store until I go to use them. And then when I open the large can to use whatever it is that I need out of there, then I will a lot of times can up the remaining amount that I don't need at the time and will store that again from there. But this nacho cheese, obviously, whatever event that I had purchased it for, I didn't ever use it. And so as I was up in my pantry and I was, working around and looking, I looked at this can of cheese and I noticed that it's starting to rust. And I will hold it up here. Now, this is a really, really large can of nacho cheese sauce. And I got this from Sam's Club. But if you can see on the bottom of the can is starting to rust. And before this can gets completely compromised, I just figured I'd better get it recanned so that I don't lose it. And so I thought, hey, this is a good time to show you guys how I actually recan this cheese sauce. Now, I'm not saying that cheese sauce, especially this stuff, is good for you. But, once in a while, we all just use products like this. Regardless of whether it's real cheese or not real cheese, once in a while you just like a nacho chip with some nacho sauce on it or whatever. So anyway, I will show you how I recan this cheese sauce today, and it is so easy. You can't get any easier than this. So I'm going to page you down onto my work surface here, and I'll show you how easy this is to do. I opened my can off camera just to make sure that my product was still good. I was a little concerned about that rust on the bottom, but the can has not been compromised yet, and so the product is still good. Now, I do not heat this at all. These type of cheese sauces that come in these large cans, they're actually pretty pliable even without heating. It is rather thick, but I do not heat this at all. There's just no reason to heat it. And I'm choosing to put it in pint jars just simply because this is this amount of cheese that we would use as a family. You can do this in half pints if you want to, a smaller portion. Half pint is fine or 1 pint is fine. And all I do is I just spoon that cheese into the jars without heating it, without making it more runny, and then just get in there. And you guys, very rarely will you see me debubble anything, okay? Most products do not need to be debubbled. But this cheese sauce is a little on the thick side. And so if I notice while I'm scooping it in there, if I notice that I have some air bubbles in there, I will just take and try to work those air bubbles out. And I put the cheese into 1/2 inch headspace. So I will fill up another jar here. Just no rocket science to this at all, guys. I just scoop this cold cheese sauce right in there and fill the jar to 1/2 inch headspace. And I could be using my funnel, but it just kind of gets sticky on the funnel and it doesn't want to go in very easily that way either. So this is just one of those things that I elect not to use my canning funnel for. It works just as easy this way, in my opinion. All right. And then I take and I just kind of give it a gentle tap on my counter. And that works out a lot of the air bubbles. But you can see I still have some bubbles trapped in there. So that's when I'm just going to get in there. If you have a wooden skewer to help you debubble things, that would be best. I don't have any wooden skewers on hand. And so I'm just here carefully using a butter knife today, which isn't technically recommended to do, but it's not like I'm scraping the sides of my jar very, hard or anything like that. I'm just working those air bubbles out as best as I can. All right, I'm going to give that another tap. And then I'm going to recheck myself because I think that I have less than 1/2 inch headspace here. So I'm going to scoop just a little of the product out, leave approximately 1/2 inch headspace on these cheese sauces. And you guys, that's all there is to it, okay? So just like any other canning process, you're going to want to wipe that rim really, really well and make sure you don't have any of that cheese sauce on the rim of your jar. And then place your flat and your ring. And since this is at room temperature, it's not heated, it is going to go into a room temperature canner. Get this one cleaned up. And get the lid on that and into the canner. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish filling the rest of my jars, and then we will get to the canning process. All right, guys, so I got all of the cheese put into jars and I wiped the rims really well. I ended up getting 8 pints and 1/2 pint. Now, the half pints don't have to be processed quite as long as the pints, but there's only a difference of 5 minutes process time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick my little half pint jar in along with my pint jars. That extra 5 minutes is not going to hurt this little jar at all. All right, so this is just a simple hot water bath or steam can, period. Half pints are 20 minutes, and pint jars I do for 25 minutes. And like I said, just hot water bath or steam can. You do not need to pressure can this at all. So I'm going to get my lid on. I'm using my Presto pressure canner. I'm using my Presto pressure canner. That's a tongue twister. As a steam canner today. And so I'm just going to get this on here. I will put it over medium heat. Now, you are kind of starting with not necessarily a cold product, but it's a room temperature product. And you do want to heat this up a little slower than normal because it's not a hot start. And if you heat it too quickly, any of your canning items, if you heat it too quickly, they can kind of heave up and want to overflow out of your jars. So over medium heat, I'm going to bring my canner up to a full vent. Once it reaches a full vent, then I'm going to start my process time for 25 minutes today. I'm never going to place my weight. I do have a video on steam canning and using your stovetop canner, pressure canner as a steam canner, and we will put the link for that video in the description of this video here today if you want to have more detailed instructions on how to steam can with your pressure canner. But anyway, I'm going to get these processed for 25 minutes via steam canning, and then I will be back to show you the amazing results. All right, so I got through my 25-minute steam canning or hot water bath process, and I'm going to go ahead and remove my jars of cheese from the canner. And I will just show you how absolutely lovely that is. And this will remain shelf stable. I've had them shelf stable up to 2 years. Sorry, I've got a little hard water problem obviously going on here. This is just on the outside. Ouch, that's hot. Outside of my jar. I must have put too much cream of tartar in my canner today. It always changes with our water softener. If our water softener is full of salt, I don't need as much cream of tartar. And if it's getting a little on the empty side, then I need a little bit more cream of tartar. So we must need to put salt in the water softener right now, because my normal measurement was just a little too much. But you guys, these are just wonderful to have on your shelf. They are shelf stable after they cool and seal. And like I said, up to 2 years I've had this on my shelves. 2 year shelf storage, and it's just amazing to be able to have it just on hand all of the time. Now I do this with a whole lot of different cheese sauces, you know, in those big cans. I've done the white cheddar, I've done the regular cheddar, obviously today the Nacho, and I really like having these on hand, particularly for when I'm making creamy soups or soups that I like to have a little bit of cheese in, like my ham and potato soup. I love to add cheese to that, and having this cheese sauce canned and on my shelves at any time, and particularly in these small usable portions, it's just wonderful for that. My cream of broccoli soup, I love to have cheese in that one too. Not that I would use the Nacho flavor, but of course the cheddar cheese sauce works well for that. So I'm going to go on, not necessarily in this video, I'll make another video, but I'll also show you how I can Velveeta cheese, and I'm also going to do another video on how I can cream cheese. So if you're interested in canning cheese, please stick around. I will be sharing more and more varieties of cheese that you can can safely at home. As always, thank you for joining me again today. God bless you all, and happy canning, everybody.